Welcome to Heaving Bosoms, the podcast where one best friend reconnects with cherished pals while discovering new monsters and loving those mood ring orbs.
Stack ourselves with the clinches out. Shout it from the rooftop, can you hear the sound? Yeah. Live your best life, love it out loud. Love it out loud.
Hey HBs, it's another special week over here at HBHQ. We've not only got a full-on special guest, but we've got a crossover episode. First, though, I need to tell you about the bonus content coming up this week. I don't know about you, but I'm still coping with this timeline with fluffy romance. So this week, on the Patreon bonus feed and Apple Podcast subscription, I tell Sabrina all about the Games We Play series by DJ Jameson. With such titles as Truth or Darren and 7 Minutes in Kevin, how could this series not be absolutely magical, I ask you? That's this Friday on Patreon and our Apple Podcasts subscription. Now I have the pleasure of shouting out some amazing members of our Patreon. Hello, and thank you for your direct support, you beautiful songbirds of awesome. Simone P.L., Amber, Lynn D., Marlene M., Stephanie, and Alyssa G. Okay, this week I got to hang out with Sarah Wendell from Smart Bitches Trashy Podcast. This is a crossover episode, so you're going to get parts 1 and 2 in our feed like normal, and then part 3 will be over on Smart Bitches Trashy Podcast on Friday. I actually had the audacity to think to myself, oh my gosh, will Sarah and I speak for enough time to cover both of our podcasts? What kind of idiot am I? Of course we did. And then we had to be like corralled, you know? All right, here's part 1 of our recap of A Soul to Keep by Opal Reyne. Sarah, I'm so excited to have you here today. I'm so excited to talk about this book. It has been on my TBR forever, and I just haven't had the impetus to start it, and I think I'm hooked. I'm hooked.
Pleased to be the impetus for you to take the journey with me. I picked this up because, monster fucking is a whole thing.
Yeah.
And I have tried so many monster fucking books, and I won't name them, but many of them made me uncomfortable with the degree of what I felt was anti-blackness, only just a completely different color. And I really thought that there was a tremendous amount of othering that wasn't unpacked, and it sort of gave me that, I'm not sure about this. So I figured, okay, well, the guy on this cover looks like a video game character from The Witcher, which I really like. So I was like, hey, that's the Leshen. I'll read about Leshen fucking. Wow.
I'm going to tell you, I'm an uncultured swine, and I had never heard of a Leshen. I've never heard of a Duskwalker. I had no idea what was happening when I walked into this.
Nope.
And I was delighted the whole time.
Well, a Leshen in the game, if you meet, so when you're playing Witcher 3, which is one of my favorites, first, I have it on the easiest level because I'm not actually interested in fighting. I like to wander around, pick flowers. And then if a bandit starts a fight with me, you'll get in a fight with like an NPC, and they'll be wearing a helmet and like a medieval diaper. And that's it. They are bare, except for the diaper and the helmet. And then you kill them because I have it on easy mode and I want to go back to picking flowers. Then it's like, hey, you can loot the character. And there is a whole chicken, a ham sandwich. And I'm like, where? Where was he keeping it? Where was the chicken? Is it in his pants? Is this butt crack chicken? Like, what is this? So that's my first thing that I love. The second thing is all of the Slavic mythology that's part of The Witcher because it's originally a series of books. Also known as Aleshi, they are a very, very powerful forest spirit from Slavic mythology. And they are very strong, very territorial, extremely magic. And they look like these giant humanoids with skulls and horns. The ones in The Witcher actually have like a full rack, like a buck. Yeah.
Cool.
This guy, he's got 2 horns.
He's got an antelope
and we learn
horn.
more about his horns.
Yeah, his are antelopes, okay? And like we meet another in there that he has deer horns.
He's got deer.
And that's just how it is. There's a ram boy. There's a ram horn boy.
Isn't there an impala?
I think, isn't that him?
Or is he the impala?
Or is it not? He's a type of antelope. I thought it was an impala antelope. I don't know. Yeah. So it is fucking rad. It's very metal, question mark.
Yes, he's the impala. Forgive me. Yeah, he's an I had put antelope in my brain, but that's him. Yep.
Oh my God. Incredible. Okay, so we are in a world where like they were just about to get like telephones and electricity and stuff. And then out of fucking nowhere, like a vortex opened up into what they call the Veil. And now there are demons who eat everyone. And all they want to do is eat, and they're voracious. And so now all the humans are like basically barricaded into these villages because they can't go out at night.
Nope.
And our heroine is an outcast, but still inside the village because they think that she is a harbinger of doom, essentially. A harbinger of like bad omens or something like that. Because her entire family, when she was 7, was attacked and killed and eaten, but she was spared. And so everybody's like, you brought them there, and you're the reason that they're dead.
Not a lot of trauma-informed caretaking in this world.
No.
Now, I did want to start with my top 5 most terrible sentences out of context here.
Please.
Okay.
Yes, please.
So while I'm reading this book, I am like, what is happening? What is going on? There are many inconsistencies, which we will get to, but I started highlighting. I'm going to be honest with you. This is some of the weirdest writing I've ever encountered.
Really?
You know,
okay.
You do you.
I think maybe I didn't get that because I only read it in audio. It's an excellent audiobook. I only read it in audio. And so I think you're going to have insights that I would completely never pay attention to.
I'm so excited. This is going to be amazing.
Yeah, same.
So I highlighted a bunch of things where I was like, what does this even mean? So here are my top 5 terrible context sentences from this book.
Yes.
Please be aware, listeners, you will not understand these until later, but you also won't understand them now. The understanding is a variable concept. It could be percentages here. I cannot make a prediction. Number 5. She pouted further and folded her arms across her chest. That's when she remembered she was naked as her breasts slipped awkwardly between them. Now, I have big bajongas. I'm going to be honest with you. I am ample in the chest department. And if I cross my arms over my chest, my boobs don't pop out. Like, do they move on their own? Like, it was very weird. I could not figure that out.
The fact that they were like slippery and like really getting, boobs, really. They're
Number 4, he twitched when her hand ran over his dark nipple and a deep expire came from him. Okay. 3.
Yep.
Rage that his prey was taken by another dipped the squishy flesh of his brain, while fear that Rhea would be gone also clutched his throat. Does rage dip the fleshy part of your brain? What, dipping? Dip?
Yeah, I guess it dips into it. Does it dip it out? Is it like a scoop?
Maybe it's like a claw that grips.
Yeah. He does talk about feeling like he has hands on his head, and like if they squeeze, he goes feral.
So that's probably it. We're just puzzling these out. Number 2, shoving his entire body with the use of his shoulder into her meaty behind segment, both of them went tumbling to the other side of her nest. With the use of his shoulder into her meaty behind segment.
Yes.
I mean, I understand in context, but I read that sentence twice and was like, wow.
How, though?
This was my number 1. This sentence is incredible. I've sent this to people, be like, this is from the book I'm reading. You'll never believe this.
I love
Her
it.
smile was haunting when he raised his head, knowing she meant inside and not just how he had. How he had what? Is this like British when they say when every time so often in colloquial British English, there's have you or have done There's always, sometimes there's an extra word, and I've never figured out the rules for that. Maybe this is one of those yes, she meant inside, not just how he had.
Wait, she meant inside. Wait, read it one more time.
Her smile was haunting when he raised his head, knowing that she meant inside and not just how he had.
Incredible.
Truly.
Incredible.
Acrobatic English. I am here for it.
Yeah. Well, so there were a couple of things in this book that I did catch with the narration.
Mm-hmm.
One of them was every single time I would say exhale or an exhalation, the book would say expire.
Yes. Expire.
Yeah.
Expire. It wasn't exhale. It wasn't. No, it was expire.
It was an expire. And I wondered if that was because he doesn't have traditional, like, vocal cords.
Oh, that's a good theory. Or he doesn't have lungs.
Yeah.
He doesn't breathe.
That's what I mean. They talk about, because he's full skull face, okay? So he talks a lot, but he doesn't actually make sounds. He just telepaths his voice into your head. And that's for everyone. Mm-hmm. And he can do it freely. Like, that is the way he talks because he can't actually move his mouth.
Breathe.
Yeah. So I wondered if that was it.
Then why is he deeply expiring?
Yeah. You know, because I wondered if it was like a sigh sound in her head, but not in actual life. Does that make sense? Like, he's using, because in this world, the demons and others in this world, they get more and more human as they eat humans. And so he's very humanoid. He's been eaten, okay? And with that, I think that you might pick up the mannerisms of humans, including like snorts or exhales or sighs or whatever. But if he doesn't actually have the anatomy to do those things, it would just be in your brain.
The idea,
it would just be the same sound. Yeah. You would just hear the as you would his voice. I think.
Interesting. So he might telepathically facsimile breathing into your brain while he is talking, even though he doesn't actually breathe. Now, I want to give the author credit. She is Australian, and there's a note in the front of the book that says, I am Australian, and here's what some of the differences are. So, I haven't spelled anything wrong. The spelling is fine.
Yeah.
There's just some of the verbs.
Yeah. The one that always got me, I don't know if it happens more than once, but where I would say converse, the character says conversate. And that is really common in just like, colloquial speaking.
The other one was the eyes. Okay. Bowing. Was it bowing?
Bowing in the narration.
Yeah. Her eyes bowed in the anguish of this torture. Nobody looks down. Everyone's eyes bow, which started to make me very confused and start thinking, what does that look like?
Oh, that's so funny. I don't know why, but when they said maybe I thought bow. No, you're right. In the narration, at least one of the narrators, the woman narrator said bow. And so I was thinking it was like they got really wide or something.
Oh, that could be it. But a lot of the times, both of their eyes, I thought it was bow, first of all, and I was just reading.
Sure.
But I thought it was just like a way of saying looking down. But then it happened so much. Like, I'm just going to be a total awful person, and I am going to search the word.
Yeah.
Bowed. Yeah. There's a 14, 15, 10, several times is this used.
When you look at them in context, is it because they're surprised by something?
No, it's mostly like it's most often a symbol or a signal of emotional understanding. Her eyes bowed or bowed in understanding. Okay. Her eyes bowed in confusion and distress. Her eyes bowed in sadness, bowed in the anguish of the torture. Her beautiful green eyes bowed, and she began to nibble at her body. Like, unless it's bowed and something else is going on with these eyeballs that I don't know about.
Yeah. I don't know.
Shall we get into it?
Yes, let's get into it.
My favorite part is the first part of this book. I thought this rocked when I started it. I was like, this is amazing.
Yeah, tell us everything.
So she's an outcast, and the town that she's living in is heavily fortified and barricaded and run by terrible men. Lots and lots of terrible men in this town. And she's been alone since she was 7.
Oh my God. So this baby was the only one that survived, and they were like, we're just going to barricade you in that house and drop food off every once in a while.
This is your fault. And then someone I think it was one of the bullies that torments her. his father was bringing her from wherever the massacre happened, and he was attacked and killed by demons. So everyone's like, you're super, super bad, and we don't understand, so we're just going to outcast you, which added a sort of limited thinking to the humans that underscores the idea that they were about to develop technology, and then that societal and cultural development stopped because demons came and ate their faces, which understandable. You have different priorities at that time.
You're much lower on Maslow's hierarchy at that
point.
Very,
very much.
Yeah.
So every 10 years, someone from this town is offered as a sacrifice.
Mm-hmm.
And these creatures, these Duskwalkers, come out of the woods and create a spell over the town to protect it from the demons for 10 years. And in exchange for that protection, they give them someone from the town, because the Duskwalkers also eat humans. Everybody in this world, except the humans, eats humans.
Right.
We are delectable.
Oh, I mean, yum. Yeah. And as you eat human, you become more human. And as a result, you get like more human needs. So for a long time, each Duskwalker is fine. They're just like, an animal. They live in caves. They're just cool to do whatever. But then as they gain more humanity, they start feeling things like loneliness.
Mm-hmm.
And this one in particular wants a companion. So every single 10 years, he comes out and he makes this bargain, he calls it, with the town. The town understands that the person has to be like pure, it says.
Mm-hmm.
And they view it as like a wedding day kind of a situation.
Oh, yeah, everyone's in white.
Yep.
And it's supposed to be an honor to be given, but they're mostly like, let's use this opportunity to get rid of this girl we all hate.
Right. Oh, because the other thing, they have to be pure and they have to be willing.
Mm-hmm.
And so we find out that like willing is not really what he means.
No.
But regardless, it's interesting. It's interesting to me that this is the first time they've done this. They hadn't done it sooner. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Why not make more bargains with more creatures and shorten your lead time by a couple of years, and then you may not have to give up a person. You just give them some food or whatever.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah. So he ends up showing up. They have, and everything in this world, they smell your fear. And that is what is the tastiest most of the time. If they smell fear, they can't handle it and they have to attack.
All of these creatures are incredibly aroused by the smell of fear.
Yeah.
And it makes them attack, all of them. And the fear is like you said, it's like a delicacy.
Yeah. So when they're getting her ready.
Remember when vampires were huge and the vampires like to have humans in a specific emotional state when they took their blood? It's like that.
Yeah, it is. It is like that, because later on somebody else will be like, won't you be sad for me, please? That's my favorite flavor.
It's so delicious. And the thing that is not really unpacked in this book, but I'm still thinking about, is the idea that if you eat a human and you absorb some of their humanity, but you want the human to be afraid, isn't there some sort of conflict internally then? Because you've absorbed the humanity and a lot of the human aspects of this human that you've eaten who was afraid of you. And so you'd think that the fear would eventually not be so appealing because you would have start feeling that humanity and empathy. But that's and that's slowly what is being built up in all of these creatures, a sense of empathy and a sense of individualism. Like they become individuals as they eat, which we'll get to later.
Absolutely.
There's two other people who have been selected to offer themselves to the Leshen.
It's a buffet.
Yeah, it's a whole, there's three of them. And one of them is not really willing. One of them is not really willing. And she's so tired of these people. She's like, fine, whatever.
Fuck it.
Fuck all of you. Maybe going with this horrible, scary monster is going to be better than being ostracized, bullied, and taunted by all of you assholes with no one protecting her or standing up for her.
Right.
The Leshen, not a Leshen, he's a Duskwalker, but in my brain he's a Leshen.
Sure.
His name is Orpheus. He comes out of the woods with a pack of wolves.
Skull wolves. They've got skulls too.
They're creepy as hell. And his whole goal is to just scare the fuck out of these people, get his job done. Go. He is determined to have the human and have the human with him, but still demonstrates a very great lack of understanding about humans.
Mm-hmm. Including, but not limited to, just going up to her and grabbing her throat. And she's like, I was expecting it to hurt. And later on, he's like, "Oh, I just wanted to get closer to you and see what you smelled like and looked like and stuff." And she's like, that's not the message that you sent with the throat grab.
And the book does a great job, I think, describing what Orpheus looks like.
Yes.
He has a skull. His eyes glow in the skull, different colors depending on mood. He's got horns. He has a body like a furred animal, but some of his bones are on the outside.
Yeah.
This is like a little bit of body horror. And she's very wary of him because she knows he can eat her and kill her, and she'd rather that not happen.
And they have no idea what this dude actually wants.
Nope. They're just like, here, take a human, protect the village, give me a charm, GTFO, see you in 10 years.
Yeah. And so at one point, she says something about being his bride, and he says, "You're not my bride." And she's like, "Okay, I don't know what that means. Like, maybe that means I'm actually dinner." And then he said, "I'm no longer seeking a bride. I just want a companion."
Mm-hmm.
And he never explicitly tells her that he just wants to hang out and be friends.
No.
He never explicitly tells her most things.
No, he doesn't explicitly tell her a lot of things. And toward the end, I was very mad. He was not informed about. Like, it was a lot of things like, bro, all of this is weird to this person. Just explain just one thing. God.
Just explain it up front, because there are a lot of times where he'll like start doing something and she'll freak out and he'll be like, "Well, cool it. Like, I'm just here because I have to do this X, Y, and Z." And I'm like, bro, all you had to do was walk in, say that out loud, and then start doing it.
This is not in the book, but here's an example. He goes outside and he finds goes find some animal, gets some intestines, and starts draping them around the house like a garland.
Right.
Intestine all the way around, intestine garlands. And she's like, "Oh my God, he's hanging intestines on the house." But actually what he's doing is creating a barrier for demons. But does he tell her that the intestines have a purpose? No. She just thinks he's just hanging intestines on the house just to scare me, because there's no other reason why you would hang intestines on the house. Again, that's not in the book, but that's the kind of, he has all the knowledge and she always guesses wrong.
Right. But she guesses totally logically. You know?
Yes, it's very rational.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. So he ends up choosing her, and we find out that it's because she intrigued him because she smelled angry.
Yes.
And normally they smell afraid, but he didn't smell a ton of fear on her. It was just this boiling anger. And he was like, that's better than the other bullshit.
Also, she's a redhead, so her anger is like extra.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. HBs, I've got the most delicious historical romance to tell you about. The second book in Alexandra Harvey's Spinster Society series is out now. It's called A Deal with the Devil, and it's just as wicked as it sounds. Here's the description. When you steal from the devil, getting burned is half the fun. When Kitty's reckless father sells her sister into marriage to a cruel nobleman, rumored to have 3 dead wives, Kitty takes matters into her own hands. She steals a debt vow from the most dangerous man in London and blackmails him into helping her. Known as the Devil of Mayfair, the Earl built an empire collecting secrets, inheritances, and broken reputations. No one crosses him. Until Kitty. Kitty is a bookseller with a sharp tongue, a literary tour side hustle, and a serious talent for stirring trouble. She's the most irritating and most tempting woman the devil's ever met. But if she wants to stop a murderer, she'll need his help. And if he wants to keep his secrets safe, he might have to let her in. He might own half of London, but he'll burn it all down for her. One reviewer called the banter electric and the romance scorching. Another said, "I loved this book. It was hard to put down. The writing is superb, the romance and attraction is swoon-worthy. The banter is great and hilarious, and the main characters are just the best." Here are some tropes you can noodle on until you get your copy. It's enemies to lovers, there's a grumpy, morally gray hero, a feisty heroine who is also a naughty bookshop owner, there's a murder mystery with romantic tension, and we even get some found family. something for everyone. I've got buy links in the show notes, so don't miss this excellent historical. A Deal with the Devil by Alexandra Harvey is waiting for you. So he ends up starting to walk, and she's trying to keep up with him in her dress.
This is my favorite part. She's like, I'm in the snow. I am wearing a full-length gown, and you are like 5 times taller than me. I'm going to die. Like, what is happening here?
So she's trying to keep up. She keeps on looking back to be like, is anybody even, paying attention? Or how far am I away from the village? Because remember, she's been not only stuck in this village, she has mostly been stuck in her tiny house in the village.
Yes.
It's very rare.
She leaves, people attack or throw rocks at her or mock her. I mean, it's not great going outside.
Yeah. So she's already wanted to find a way to be free of that. And this is her first time traveling. It's one of the only things she's ever wanted to actually do. But now it's under this situation where she's still not free. She might be outside of the village, but she's still just as caged. And that's her overall conflict in the book, is trying to parse what is her choice and what is being caged. And, figuring out that balance. So as she's walking, she slows down a little bit, and these creepy wolves start barking at her and nipping at her heels. And she's kicking it, kicking at it, being like, get away from me. And all he says is, I would keep up if you don't want them to bite you, or something like that. And she's like, I'm fucking trying. She's trying so hard.
She's wearing slippers in the snow. Because there's a little bit about, dainty feet slippers. She's got dainty feet. She's a romance heroine. And she's in the snow in some cloth slippers and a long gown, no stockings, no pants. And so she's holding up the hem of her dress. There's snow all over it. So now the snow is pressing against her bare legs. Her hands are cold. Her hands turn pink. She has no idea how bad the frostbite is. But she's like, I'm gonna die if you. I'm gonna die. Something.
You're either gonna walk me to death, or it's gonna be a frostbite hypothermia situation.
Right. The first thing she says to him is, would you let me go? And he's like, no. But when I lied, I wasn't willing. And he's like, I don't care if you lied.
The bargain struck.
Yeah, I took your blood. We did a thing. There was some light. I did a charm. It's done. The blood was for the charm protecting the town. And he only did it to obtain her. He only did the charm because he was like, oh, this one's interesting. I'm going to take this with you. Yeah. And she's like, so wait, you don't care that I'm not willing? He's like, no, I really don't give a shit. I don't care if you were willing or not.
Well, and his rationale, which I thought was really interesting and very part of his otherness, is I don't care if you're willing because it's to protect your family, or if you just don't care about your life or whatever. I don't care if you're willing. You just need to say yes. That's it. And you did. So here we go. And as they're walking, finally, she gets so tired, and she tells him I can't keep up, basically.
Yep.
And so he picks her up, and she is like, what's going on? And he's like, well, I don't want to slow down, and you're really slow, and so I can carry you and be faster. It'll be great. It's better for both of us.
And to give you a sense of how big Orpheus is, have you ever held a baby on your forearm where you have your hand sort of supporting I had to do this a lot with my kids because they were gassy, and honestly, they're teenagers and they still are. So imagine you're holding a baby face down on your forearm, and you're supporting the head and the neck with your hand, and the baby's butt is right in the crook of your elbow. Now, lift that baby vertical, and that is how she's sitting. She's sitting in his elbow, and his hand is holding her midsection under her breasts. He is so big, he can hold her like an infant.
Yeah.
And he just holds her ribcage and parks her on his arm and starts going.
It's bananas. Yeah. She says he's 7'2" without his horns. And then he's 7'9" or something like that.
Okay. I found that very oddly specific.
Same. And I wondered.
7'9"? Why? Why those two?
I wondered if it was because because she also gives us the heroine's height. She's 5'6". And
which is still very specific.
Well, yeah. And I wondered if it was because she did some sort of Barbie math where she could figure out the sex scenes. You know?
Barbie math. Yes.
I mean,
for sure.
Because there's a lot of stuff that I'm like, your mouth is where and your dick is where? Like, I don't know about that.
How big is your dick? If this is how big you are and you can just hold me on your arm like it's nothing.
Yeah.
How big? Yeah. And how is it going to fit? I mean, we're all just setting up a big, how's it going to fit?
Yes.
And there's an answer to that. Don't worry.
There is.
There is a very specific answer to how does it fit.
Yeah. And it's fan-fucking-tastic.
Amazing. So as they're walking, she's being held and they are attacked by demon slayers. And she's like, oh, well, damn, if they kill him, the enemy of my enemy is my friend.
That's great.
Unfortunately, not true.
They just think of her as bait.
Yeah, she's bait, and they don't care if she's human. They're after the demon, but they've picked the wrong creature because he's very, very strong. And they don't care if she lives or dies either. So she has to choose between two humans who are attacking the person who is now her captor and don't care about her, or does she have to go with her captor who has one time demonstrated, I can care for you, I can pick you up out of the snow. Which one is she going to go with?
Yeah, and at this point, the human actively has his sword on her neck.
Yes. And she wanted to be a demon slayer, too. She had wanted to be one. And she's like, wow, you suck.
She's just like betrayed by everyone, Sarah. God. And so he's like, make a noise, scream or whatever, because he's going to want to protect you and he'll stop killing my friend. And she's like, he doesn't give a shit about my life. But then he hurts her a little, so she does scream. And that's when Orpheus looks over and he goes extra feral and like starts loping towards them.
And this starts a very specific theme through this book. She calls him by his name. Instead of just screaming or yelling help, she calls out to him using his name. And that has a tremendous effect on him. She calls him by name and uses his name and speaks to him as an individual and not this like weird creature.
Right, right. And so on the way here, we've learned a couple of things from his perspective. Yep. One is that all of the other humans, he's so delighted that he gets to pick her up. Y'all, he's just like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, it's happening. She's letting me pick her up. She's not freaking out. This is amazing. All
like
of them
when
freak
you meet
out.
a cat and you get to pet it for the first time.
Yes. And you're like, be cool, stay cool.
Just be cool.
Like,
just be cool about it. Just be cool. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Yeah.
Don't make any sudden moves. He's so excited. And then when she asks him for his name, he's like, holy shit, nobody's ever asked me if I even have a name.
Yeah.
Like all of the other offerings have just referred to me as Duskwalker.
Yeah.
And so when he tells her and she says it, she feels like a shiver go down his body, because when she said it, not only did she say it, but she said it in like a soft tone.
Yes.
A kind tone.
Right. Like she's actually getting to know him.
Right.
And calling him by his name, which never happens because nobody talks to him.
Yeah. So he ends up knocking this human away from her and she fucking books it, because I would too. She's got to get away from the scene, because if nothing else, another fucker might come out of the woodwork to use her as bait.
Yes.
Like it's clear that she doesn't matter to fucking anybody, but maybe this Duskwalker, honestly. So, also his eyes turn different colors depending on his mood. And also they're not called eyes. I'm so sorry, listener. They're orbs. And they are exclusively referred to as his orbs.
Orbs.
And I was delighted by it.
Mm-hmm.
So
he's
when
like a stoplight, he's got a set of colors.
Yes.
It's like he's like a walking mood ring.
Yeah, exactly. And right now, boy, are they just so red, okay?
Oh, yeah.
Because he's feral. He's rabid. He's going to eat anything in sight. So he's coming after her now. And she's thinking to herself, I can't outrun him. I'm not going to be able to hide. There's nothing I can do. So you know what? Fuck it.
He's compelled to chase her.
Yes.
He's just killed 2 demon slayers. She runs and he's like, ooh, prey.
It's prey. It doesn't matter. He can't think through those instincts.
Nope.
And so she's like, fuck it. I'm not going out like this. If I can't go down fighting, then I'm going to at least go down with some dignity. And so she stops and turns around, and he ends up like going and tackling her. and he's like sniffing on her, and then his maw starts opening and going on her face.
And it's bigger than her head. Like he is about to bite her whole cranium off her neck, and it would be no big deal to him.
Oh my God. It would be like a dum-dum for him, basically.
Yeah, like chupa chup, no big deal.
Yeah.
But then he smells her.
Yeah. And she giggles.
Scent, and she's like, okay, this tickles.
Right.
And this is absurd. Just kill me. And she starts laughing.
Yeah. She has this moment of just like absurd, like a panic. And she's just like, blah, this is how it ends. Fine. Like, okay. And so those two things confuse him enough that he's able to like record scratch his brain and come out of it and start thinking about it. And he's like, you still don't smell like fear. And she's like, yeah, no, I don't. He's like, she smells like elderberry and red roses, listener, because each color rose has a specific scent.
Oh, yes.
I love it. I love it.
Then his eyes fade from red to yellow, and she's like, oh boy. And she's like, I thought you were going to eat me. And he's like, well, actually, yeah, I was.
I was.
So why didn't you? And he says, I never heard a human laugh as I'm about to eat them. And I'm curious why I could taste elderberries and roses rather than blood. And also, I'm really not that hungry because I just totally ate those two dudes. And, I might not have come to my senses beforehand. So this is another motif that goes through the whole book where his rage is like blackout rage. Once he hits red eye raging, he cannot stop himself. It's very hard for him until he has killed whatever he has decided to kill.
Yes. Yeah, and she seems to be the only being that is able to jolt him out of it in one way or another. Mm-hmm. And I love the fact that most of the time it's because she's so unpredictable that he gets like mildly confused. And that's what that's what happens.
Very unpredictable, readers. Very
unpredictable.
Very unpredictable.
And so then he starts like snuffling up on her neck.
Yeah.
And he's like, he's really getting in there,
Mm-hmm.
And she starts getting a little bit turned on. And she's like, this is unnatural. I should not be feeling like this. Am I also a monster?
Like, what's wrong with me? And she's like, are you just going to eat me? And he actually explains a little bit of his purpose finally. He says, that depends on you, although I can make no promises. That is not my intention with you to eat you. I would much rather have you as a companion. But he doesn't say that part. He's just like, no, I don't actually want to eat you, but what happens is up to you. Like, bro, you could give a little bit more information.
Just say it out loud.
Right?
Yeah.
And then comes one of my favorite lines in this whole book.
Yeah.
He says, your life is precious. I will try not to make sure it does not end if I can. So if you like earthly tether books where there's the morality, not earthly, but in my brain, it's called earthly tether. It's actually morality chain, but this is my brain. Morality chain books. Yeah, there's a big morality chain in this book.
It is. Yeah.
Earthly
because
tether, we're calling it now.
She's fully his North Star. I love it. I love the earthly tether. Yeah. Because I like that actually for this specifically because she is his link to humanity, right? She grounds him in that very specific way.
Precisely.
Absolutely. Yes. Earthly tether. I love it.
And then she does the quintessential romance heroine thing. And she starts ripping off a piece of her fabric of her dress so she can bandage his wounds. How many times have you read that in a romance?
I don't know, 15 minimum,
all the time. And
so many.
Everyone's just ripping off the ruffles of their petticoats. Have you ever tried to rip fabric from a seam? It's actually kind of hard.
It's so hard. You have to be like a Hulk smash situation in order to make it happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so and meanwhile, he's like, you want to tend my wounds? And she's like, yeah, like you're bleeding everywhere. She doesn't know that he can't die unless one very specific thing is done to him. And so even if his head is cut off, in 24 hours, his whole body would just regrow from the skull. Mm-hmm. And so he'll just have these wounds until the next day, and then they're magically gone.
Yep.
But he's like, OMG, she's caring for me. And I don't know that I've ever felt that in my whole life. So like, I'm going to let her have at it. She ends up like having him lift up his cloak so that she can wind it around because she cannot physically reach around his torso. She has to walk underneath his cloak to wind it around.
In case you were wondering, he's very big. Very, very big,
y'all. Yeah. And he's very strong.
And you know what that means. And we all know what that means.
That's right. one thing I did like about this book is that it's noted that she is not dainty in human terms.
No.
She is only dainty in Duskwalker terms.
Right.
Like, I loved the fact as a fellow, like, just sturdy lady, you know, it was so nice to have.
I am using that. I just need you to know that I have taken that into my soul, and I will be using that for the rest of my life. Sturdy lady. Yes.
Sturdy lady. Yes. Yeah.
Bring it. I am with you.
There's a moment where he's like, I couldn't give her any shoes because none of the shoes would fit her, not because they were too big for her, but because they were all too small.
Yes.
And I'm like,
She's
yeah.
got them size 11s.
Yes. One time I tried to make Michael tell me that my wrists were dainty, and he literally couldn't do it. He's just like, I can't.
No,
what?
Absolutely.
I can't do that.
Nope. Not a thing. Not a thing.
Anyway, so they walk for a while, and she falls asleep in his arms. So this is also another thing where he's like, this is completely different. No other human has been able to relax around me enough to fall asleep. And she's like, did you magic me or something? And he says, no, I don't have that kind of magic.
Mm-hmm.
And we find out, like, as the book goes on, the types of magic he actually has.
And they're not inconsiderable. Like, he can do some rad shit, but not compel her in a lot of ways.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. And so when they get to the border of the Vale, he has to, like, climb down a canyon, right? Isn't that what it is?
Huge mountainous nonsense snow. It's a hard journey. And this was my favorite part of the book, honestly. This was my favorite part because they have a destination. They have a destination, but they have two very different goals. Yes. And they're dependent on one another for things that the other doesn't understand. And while they're working, you understand the sort of base terms of their relationship. He explains that eating humans has granted him humanity. He does not want her to be his bride. He wants her to be his companion. Yeah. And in order to become my bride, you have to give me something, but no human ever has. And I'm beginning to doubt. So anyone ever will. So you won't be any different, but I just want a companion. And she's like, you want me to just hang out with you because you're lonely? Like, you eat people, but you're lonely. And he talks a little about how the prior gifts, the other humans, have died or run away. They're all gone. He's still alone. And she asks him, what do I have to give you to become your bride? Like, what is it? Basically, she's want to make sure she doesn't accidentally ever give it to him. Be like, oh, hey, here's a sock or here's a spoon. And he's like,
here's a bowl of whatever.
Yeah,
and he's
surprise,
like,
you're talking to me forever. Yeah. and to be fair, she's thinking correctly because he's not great with dispensing information in a timely fashion. Yeah. And she's like, so what do I got to give you to be your bride? Just, ballpark area. And he goes, you have to offer me your soul to keep. Yeah. And she's like,
oh, well that's never going to happen.
How do I even do that? She's like, great, it's fine. Let's hang out.
Yeah, I can totally hang out with you. Because when they arrive finally, like, as they go, he has her completely under his cloak. She thinks it's because he doesn't want her to be able to figure out her way out. Nope. Which I find hilarious. That's not why. It's because he can mask her scent more away from the other demons, because on the borderlands where they live, the demons are more primitive, more rabid. They're more just like, must eat whatever.
Hungry and ravenous all the time. Yeah. No thought, just nosh.
Right. And so they end up walking for like a day even to get to his house.
It's a long ass walk. I can understand why he doesn't want to do it more than every 10 years.
Honestly, I mean, but he would. That's the sad thing. He would. But his spell, he can't cast that spell more than once every 10 years.
I know.
And so most of the time, listener, when these offerings, if they die at like day 3, he just spends the next 10 years by himself. Yeah. And it's very sad.
I screwed it up again. Yeah. And it's interesting because he's absorbed enough humanity to be lonely and to recognize that he wants companionship, but he hasn't absorbed enough humanity to control his rage or to override his instinctive behavior to hunt, to kill, to find prey, chase the prey. He's not able to overcome that, no matter how many humans. And he's so old, he's eaten a lot of humans. Lots of humans, noshing, a lot of humans. There was a big buffet before she showed up, basically.
Absolutely.
Over many, many decades.
Oh my God. He tells her that some of the offerings ran away. Some of them were killed by somebody else and eaten by somebody else. And then she's like, and the rest? And he's like, each one granted me more humanity every time. She's like, oh my God, he ate them. So they end up getting to his house. And she is shocked to find the cutest, coziest, most wonderful crystal and antler decorated log cabin
that's
ever existed.
There's a chandelier, y'all. His antlers in it. And there's like, this was actually a little bit Kristen Ashley. Do you ever read Kristen Ashley books where she describes every single element of a room?
No, I haven't.
There's people riding up to the tower, but she's going to give you a whole description of the bedroom in that tower and the 3 pillows and what color they were and what the wall hangings were, like very, very specifically detailed books.
Okay.
They're great for when my brain is tired because they're going to tell me every last detail. I will not have to do any mental construction. It will just be told to me what everything looks like, what's happening. This was some Kristen Ashley. She's like the closet and the hall and the doors and the chandelier. And I'm like, why does he have doors? He lives alone. What is this?
I
know.
It's a
very human house, y'all.
It's a very human house. Yeah. And then when she asks him about it, all he says is, it was built a very long time ago. And those are the vague answers she's getting for so much of this book that it's very annoying at times.
Extremely annoying.
When they get there, he says, stay here. I've got to like do some charms and do some other bullshit that'll keep the other demons out. And then after that, I'll show you to your room. Unless if you want to go to sleep, unless you want like a bath and like a meal beforehand. And she's like, oh my God, a bath and a meal and then a bed sounds like exactly what I need. This is weird.
Bath time, y'all.
Bath time.
Get ready for bath time.
So here's the thing. Is this my dream?
The only thing I would want to be different about this scenario is that I would want to know the why and the purpose before it starts happening.
Of course.
Because he doesn't actually tell her what he's doing. He just tells her what to do. And like the side effects are great. The outcome is quite nice. But she still doesn't understand why this is happening. And so she's stuck in that state that you spoke of earlier, like, am I a monster? What's going on? Am I attracted to this creature? Like, what's wrong with me? She's stuck in this space of confusion because of the lack of information. And he's like, all right, bath time. Let's go.
Yeah.
He doesn't tell her why. Without the why, it's actually causing her emotional harm because she does not understand any of this.
She's tied up in knots all the time, trying to figure out what it is. Because at this point, she's seen so many colors go on his eyes. And she doesn't know what any color means yet.
No.
It's like a whole language that she's going to have to learn in the course of a very short amount of time if she wants to stay alive.
Now, does he hand her like a little paint swatch card and be like, this color means this and this color means that? Let me show you all the... No, none. No. He might not even know that his eyes change color.
That's the thing.
He might not have any idea that he's telegraphing his feelings.
Right. And a lot of times he's experiencing new colors because of her stimuli.
Yep.
It's like new stimuli. So he's like feeling different things, not understanding what he's feeling, but knowing that like it turns pink then. He's like, what the fuck is a pink? So both of them are actually confused for a lot of it. Anyway, so he goes in there and he does a spell. He lights a bunch of candles, okay? And there's like 3-foot tall amethyst crystals in the room, which was very important to me. And then he cuts his palm.
100% crystal girly. Yes, I understand.
And then he cuts his palm and it goes into the bath. And then the bath is suddenly full of hot water.
Yes.
And she's just like, that's fucking rad. And then he's like, get undressed, get in the bath. And he walks out. And she's like, oh my God, this is a relaxing bath.
Maybe this will not be so bad. I got a hot bath and a bed. And all I did was have to be carried and stay inside the house. Okay.
This is, fine for now.
This is glamping crossed with monster fucking. What could go wrong?
What could go wrong? Well, she sits down and all of a sudden he's back. And she's like, oh, she's like trying to cover her bits. Yeah. And then he kneels down beside the tub, doesn't say a fucking word, just starts rubbing her shoulders with gloves on. Yeah. And she's like, whoa, 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 touching me out of nowhere.
No
What's
permission,
going on?
No explanation.
I'm very vulnerable right now. I'm literally bare.
Gloves on and a neck massage. And she's like, what the hell is this?
What's happening? And she's like, I can do it myself. Like, stop touching me. I can do it myself. And he's like, no, you can't. She's like, no, I can't. I can do this myself. And finally, he says, no, you can't, because this bath is to hide your human scent. And so I've done a spell on this oil and it has to get put on you with my own hands in order for the spell to work.
Yes.
Now, I'm wearing gloves because I have noticed that you humans do not like me touching you with my skin. So we're going to have to do this twice a day, morning and night, if I wear my gloves. And then if at some point you permit me to take off my gloves, we would only have to do it once a day because more magic can seep into you more better times. And she's like, oh God. And like, if he had just walked in like a massage therapist, you know, and been like, we're going to start this way and then I'm going to do that. Do you have any do you have any spots that you want me to specifically work on?
The pressure's too much. Yeah.
Right. It would have been fine. But instead, he just starts pawing at her with no explanation whatsoever.
And when I tell you that his special magic soap spell has to be everywhere, I do mean everywhere. It is an oil soap, and she's basically getting an oil massage in every element of her body. Every nook, every cranny, the Thomas S. English muffin of her body is well covered at this point. every
fold of that labia is what Sarah's trying to say. And then it says okay.
Yeah.
There were a couple of times, though, that I did not understand how some things happened. Because, I thought he's behind her all the time. So I thought that he was, going down, whatever, and then going in the front, right? But then it would say that it would go up and out her ass crack. And
He's
I was
got
like...
long arms was my interpretation there.
Well, but is it a tentacle? So is he going all the way back and then coming back out, or is it all the way back and then he comes around a side somehow?
I don't know.
Or is it the other hand? I was very confused by that choreography, but then I decided to let it go and just, let it happen.
And she's really reacting to this, and she's very anxious about how much she's reacting to this. She's like, what is happening to me? What is going on? Why am I turned on? And it's arousal non-concordance, basically, if you've ever read Emily Nagoski. She is aroused physically. Her body is responding to sexual stimulation, but she is not aroused mentally. She's like, I'm just going to get through this, even though it's, okay, this part's great, but I'm also freaked out. And what the hell?
Yeah.
So she starts talking to him. She's like, so you never told me why you can use magic. And he said, well, like I said, no human has ever wanted to hear that answer. And she says,
I love it.
You can tiptoe around the whole eating people thing, but it's kind of fucking obvious.
Yeah.
And his eyes turn red. And she's like, and I am sitting here like a good girl, letting you wash me. I also agreed to your bargain, and I agreed to fulfill my end of it. So, you can just start friggin' talking, my guy.
Right.
He's like, oh, okay, well, I ate a priest and a priestess. And now I
ate a whole camp full of priesti. Okay.
Magic people down my gullet.
And suddenly I could use their magic.
So he then teaches himself how to do all of these things. But it also implies that when he eats a human, let me see if I can say this correctly. When he eats a human, he absorbs their humanity, but also the intricacies of their knowledge.
Yeah.
So I don't know if he's harboring their emotions, but he has a magical ability that he knows how to use because he ate magic humans. And then I think he adapts and figures it out for himself, how it fits his environment. But he seems to be capturing their knowledge, too.
But I don't know that it's necessarily knowledge. And that was what I was kind of parsing through myself. Because when he eats them, he gets their humanity, their characteristics. But it is a very physical thing as well as emotional and mental, right?
Yes.
But then she talks about how... why can you and some humans do magic? So I was wondering if it's not taught, if it's an innate thing that they are born with, that then they become priests or priestesses because they have that thing. And that's never answered. Yeah. So I didn't know if it was more genetic, biological, or something that you can study and learn. Because I had the same thought. I was like, And he eventually learns how to read after eating enough humans.
Yes.
So there is that knowledge for sure.
Right. It's almost like a minor possession.
Yeah.
It's like the people that he has eaten have a possession over his brain and have possession over him as much as he has absorbed them. They are also becoming part of him.
Right. Without like specific memories.
Yes. No specific memories, no memories of trauma. No, I can remember myself as a child. There's no memory extraction. It's just the absorbing of their humanity and their powers, I guess.
Powers. Well, but again, I think you're right. Knowledge too. Either it's knowledge because they learned the magic, or he got their power and then their knowledge of like reading and like tying shoes, maybe, like who knows what else he learned. He learned to build a fucking house. Yeah,
he has a whole log cabin. It's probably a nice A-frame, bunch of stuff on the inside. She seems very impressed with the house. It's a brand new construction, y'all.
Yeah.
So they finish bath. And she's like, I want to go to bed. And he's like, no, I know humans need to eat. And I have a garden full of fresh food for humans. So I am going to go and get you foods from the garden.
Okay, I lost my mind here. Think about it, Sarah.
Yep.
Okay, you're out. You're just homesteading, all right? And that's like a trend now.
For 10 years between humans, he's building and maintaining a garden to feed future humans.
And then, like, you just get daily massages is what I've decided the bath is,
Daily erotic massages and a fruit plate every day.
And like, I don't know if that's not the dream. I don't look.
This sounds like a really good idea for a hotel, to be honest with you.
Yes.
Daily erotic massages, fresh fruit plate, nice, warm, comfy bed, beautiful accommodations. This is like a glamour spa.
Honestly. So he comes back and he presents her with strawberries and raspberries and hazelnuts.
Yeah.
And she's like, what is this? What's happening here?
Yeah.
And he's like, I learned a while ago and I keep it for, my next human. That's you now. So get it, girl.
Yeah.
And she's like, she eats it all and then she knocks out in that bed.
Fair, because she's been awake and uncomfortable for a while.
Yeah. And when she wakes up, she goes to like wear some clothes and it's really creepy because it's all white wedding dresses.
All the other white dresses of the other offerings. There were no other options for her. Except she finds a pair of pants because then she figures out that there have been men offerings.
No, that was the weird thing. She says there have been male offerings, but there are no pants.
Oh, you're right. All right, take that out. My bad.
Yeah. No. I think it's important. And this was one of the things that actually didn't make sense to me, right? Because when she was leaving, she was like, wait a second. What do you mean we're leaving right now? And he's like, I fucking hate it here. So we're going to go home ASAP.
She didn't pack nothing. She's just wearing a dress.
Exactly. And I don't know if that's true of the other humans or if they've sent other ones with like a trousseau or something with other white dresses in it.
This is where I got confused. I apologize. So she finds this closet full of white dresses and then she leaves her room. He wakes up and he hears her. Oh, she's moving around. Oh, and she's trying to leave. So he stops and puts clothes on. He has pants and a jacket and boots. So there's an indication that he needs to either cover his body for the comfort of the humans or he wants to do so because of the humanity that he's absorbed, which is
because of the puritanical ideas that he's put into his body accidentally. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and I think part of it, he thinks to himself, like, he didn't go to bed last night he wore all of his clothes because he knew that like the first night is the one where they're probably going to bolt the most.
Mm-hmm.
And he's had to like bar the windows on their room. And the other thing is he doesn't want to take off his clothes in front of her ever because humans have been so horrified with what they've found in the past.
Yeah. He knows that humans do not like him to look at them. Humans do not like him to touch him without gloves on. Humans do not like to look at his body without human style clothes on. Yeah. Every human has made him think that he has to meet their expectations and desires to be worthy of having them as a companion. Like he is constantly renovating himself in different ways to make himself more palatable to the humans that he is capturing and then maybe eating.
Yeah, because he's just so desperate for companionship.
And it's really interesting to see the foundation of a romance here. Like this guy is a human who eats monsters and looks scary. But because we know from the beginning that he is lonely, we automatically have more empathy for him. Also, we know he's the romance hero, so he's already fine. But like he's lonely. This is why you care about him, because he is trying so hard to end his loneliness, going even against his actual nature.
Right. Yeah. Right. And part of that is like giving humans space. He wants to be like all up on him all the time because he's dying for affection. He has a very anxious attachment style, everybody.
He has a very anxious attachment style. It reminds me, you remember the old Bugs Bunny cartoons with the abominable Yeti? I will hug him and kiss him and squeeze him and call him George. That's how he is with these humans. He's like, I just want to hold them and hug them and squeeze them and just and they're like, ah!
Yeah, and he's been a Lenny in the past, and so he's also trying not to be a Lenny on her. And, you know, it's a whole thing. So when he comes out, she is at the door, and she realizes it's locked. And she doesn't hear a thing until he's right up beside her ear. And he's like, what do you think you're doing, human?
Yep.
And she's like, blah! He thinks that she's trying to escape. And so he's like, you can't get out. What are you doing?
You want to die? What the hell is wrong with you? Do you wish to be dead now? Because that's going to happen if you go outside.
Right. And she's like, no, I saw some sunlight and I thought no sunlight got here. And so I was really excited and I thought maybe I could go out and see the sunlight. Yeah. And he goes, oh, maybe that's the truth. And so he says, wait right here. I have something for you. He goes to his room and comes back and he presents her with this beautiful blue diamond amulet crown situation. A tiara on her.
It's a tiara, but it's the kind that drapes on your forehead. Kind. It's like every person you've ever seen at Ren Fair.
Yes.
It's
a diadem.
Yes, thank you. That's the word I was looking for.
I think that's it. Yeah. And it's blue and it's gorgeous. And she's like, what is this? And he says it's a protection amulet. And if demons touch her while she's wearing it, it will burn them. Yeah. If they're especially if they're lower style demons.
Yes, they don't have a lot of humanity of their own if they're just rage and hunger.
Right. The more evolved they become, the less it impacts them, to the point that they can rip it off of her with just a mild discomfort. Yeah. And then or he says in his brain parts right now, he says the more evolved ones will just start at her feet and eat everything but her head. I was like, oh, God. So
I just want to tell everybody, by the way, I'm going to spoil something. That might be foreshadowing.
Yeah. Ooh.
I know.
So she's thinking to herself, wait a second, maybe he might be telling me the truth that he wants me alive, because now he's giving me this protection amulet. He's got all those trinkets outside and all the salt business. He's doing all this stuff to protect me. And then he's like, how about we go out together? And she's like, what? And he says, yeah, I've learned that you humans go real stir crazy when you're trapped inside the house. So I'll go out with you. But you need my supervision just in case something happens. And so this is when they go out and they see the garden.
Yes. I think I got something wrong here.
What's up?
Oh, no. Hang on. Maybe I'm wrong. Okay. Oh, I got Clove and the heroine mixed up. So the heroine is blonde. The other offering had red hair. So I was wrong earlier. And I apologize for my incorrect information. I don't want to distribute bad news here. So my bad. Anyway. No,
she's very blonde.
About hair color. I apologize.
No, to the point that he says sunlight comes off of her. She's so bright. And she's she's the opposite to his darkness, he says. Oh, it's so good. So they go outside and she's like, OMG garden, which also very relatable content. Listener, I just ordered a chainsaw and I'm so excited about it. It's like a mini chainsaw. It's like an approachable chainsaw and I'm so excited. Anyway, and she gets to see the rest of it and she says it's so cute here. And he says, wait, you like the garden? And she's like, yeah, I like the garden. You've cut down trees so that the sun can penetrate here. And it's beautiful and it's lush. And maybe the house isn't so bad either. Mm-hmm. And he looks at her and he says, wait, you like something about my home? And And she's like, yeah, it's kind of awesome. Like, it's kind of awesome, especially because I didn't expect it. I expected you to like bring me to a cave or whatever. And he tells her that no, he learned very early on the humans don't like that. And so since then, he has been fashioning his life and himself around being as human as possible in order to appease
humans. Yes, he wants to appeal to the humans, so he is constantly working on himself.
Yeah.
Which, you know, I appreciate that awareness in a character.
Yes, absolutely. So then what happens next? Don't they just like pal around for a while?
This is where the story kind of started to frustrate me because they just sort of pal around and get to know each other. And then events will happen and creatures roll up to the house or things go differently or it rains and salt goes away. There's all of these different things, but it's very, very much we traversed this great canyon and now it's some slice of life with Leshen and human.
Yes.
They're just getting to know each other. The foundation of having to be bathed twice a day continues. She likes to sit in the garden. But like they just kind of hang out. They do a lot of hanging out. I kind of
actually liked it. I understand why it was frustrating, but I actually really liked it because there was such a big crevasse they had to get past, you know, to connect.
Once I recognized that the tone was not going to go back to the we must rush and get to the house, because the first part is very...
It's adventure times.
It's adventure times, yes. It's very thriller. Oh my gosh, are they going to make it? People are trying to kill him. Is he going to eat her? What's happening? It was much faster paced. And then they get to the house and it's like, nope, we're going to chill here for 10 years. And you start to chill for 10 years with them.
Yeah, most definitely. And so like he's explaining that like he doesn't know how to cook. And so she has to do the cooking.
Yep.
And she's like, so she starts doing that. And then he's thinking to himself, like, I just want to be around her all the time. But I know that freaks humans out. And so he'll come up with like tasks that don't need to be done near her so that he can look busy while just like mooning over her from across the room.
Smelling her and everything. And she starts to get used to him where she'll start touching him and he's like,
and approaching him.
Yeah. She starts to approach him and interacting with him and touching him. And like, just, he's floored by this. He cannot believe that this human is touching him. And then he realizes that when she's touching him, he feels desire.
Yeah.
And he's, you know, starting to understand that not only is this human different, but he's extremely attracted to her. And the more he rubs oil on her body during bath time, that doesn't help the situation. That only just compounds all of this. And he's constantly sniffing her. And he wants to check that she's afraid and he wants to enjoy her scent, but he also just wants to smell her because part of what he's doing is removing her human scent to make her safe and replace it with magic and some of his scent. So he's constantly sniffing at her and she just kind of gets used to it.
Absolutely. Yeah. And there are a couple of times where she's like, why are you sniffing me? And he's like, I'm just checking to see if you're afraid. And if so, I was going to change what I'm doing. There's another time where she approaches him because he's making these protection trinkets.
The fact that they were called trinkets just made me laugh.
I just love it. I loved it. I loved it.
It was basically like magic wind catchers, little things dangling off another thing. Clinkety, clinkety, clink when it was like magical wind chimes.
Yeah. And they have to be remade every few days because there's like fresh berries and shit on there and it'll decay. So she comes over and he's like, oh my God, she's so close to me. She's like almost touching my hand. And then she asks him to teach her how to make the trinket. And he's like, oh my God, that's never happened before. Like she's interested in what I'm doing. And he teaches her. And it's so cute because there's a moment where he's like, it actually needs to be tighter, he said, really, really hesitantly, because he was afraid that even the tiniest criticism would make her not like the task anymore.
Yeah.
And then she just does it. And he's like, oh my God. Oh, it's fine.
So I just want to recap at the dream spa that is in this book. We got really, really hot oil massages that are erotic. We got fresh fruit plate. We got a nice comfy bed and a beautiful house. And arts and crafts time.
And crafts.
We got craft
and garden time.
Garden time and craft hour. This is a great camp because, I mean, you know that this
I love it here.
Fun. So, like, this is great. This is a wonderful camp. We should all go here.
Yeah, she keeps on being like, and now I have to leave. And then, and both of us, like me out loud, her it way deep down inside her are like, why, bro?
But why?
Why would you want to leave?
Do you want to go back to those assholes who hate you, or do you want to hang out with this creature who is trying so hard? And she can tell that he's crying. Like, she recognizes now he's not actually trying to harm her. He is trying to take care of her. He just does not know how.
He's trying to make her the happiest human he possibly can. And no matter what she asks for, he will do gymnastics to make it happen.
And when she expresses her happiness to him, he doesn't know what to do with himself.
He's so pleased.
He's just dumbstruck when she's like, thank you, or, oh, this is nice, or he's expressing or smiling at him just brings him to his knees.
Yes. The crumbs are, the bar is in hell, but it's the opposite gender swap, you know, that this is what is happening.
Yes. Then the hot stuff starts.
Yeah. Because she's realizing that, like, I really like it. And also, I'm kind of sick of being bathed twice. So he's like, I'll go prepare your bath. And he goes in there, but he notices that she blushes as she's like going to put her dishes and stuff away. And he's like, that's weird. So then she goes into this spa-like dim, candle-lit, herb-scented atmosphere. And she says, actually, would you mind not wearing gloves? Because I don't think bathing this much is like actually very good for my skin. But also she's like, I can't have you touching on me this much all the time and like still be able to live with myself and almost.
I can't even walk, my guy. I need to stop. This is like, it's like I'm not wearing a condom. You can don't wear anything. Just touch me with your hands. Then she has an erotic dream about him. She has an incredibly erotic dream where in her dream they are going to Bone Town. He's like, he has claws, right? Like he has fingers with claws, and he's using his claw over her clit, and all of these very like body parts of his that are scary are now being used to bring her pleasure. Yes. And she wakes up and he is over her. His knees and his arms are on either side of her body, and his face is like right up against her. And he's like, there's this strange scent coming from you. And I've never smelt this way. And she's like, oh my God, he can smell I'm turned on. Oh my God.
Yeah. And so he starts like snuffling up on her neck, and he's like, it's not there. And then he starts snuffling down her chest, and he's like, it's not there. And she's like, oh my God, he's so close to my nipples. Oh my God. And then he starts snuffling down and down and down. And she's like, oh, I should stop him. I should stop him. I really should
just stop this.
Still
this
going south
experience that I didn't know.
Oh my God. Yeah. And then he snuffles right up on her pubic mound, it says.
Yes.
And he's like, this is where it's coming from. And then he says, I want to taste.
And his eyes turn purple.
Ooh, boy.
And he goes, you are aroused. And she's like, I am fucking leaking, my guy. Of course I'm aroused. And he's like, I want to taste. And well, she didn't stop him and didn't feel a single urge to try. And, you know, honestly, I understand.
I love that for her. Yeah.
I love this for her. She should have a really good orgasm after having been bullied her entire life.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yep. And I really loved this because he doesn't have a mouth, right? So we're not going to have any like traditional kissing, but we are introduced to his tongue in very important ways. Sarah's face.
The tongue is more important
the tongue of it all.
than any other appendage that this creature might have. We need is just the tongue. There's a lot
all tongue all the time.
And it is long, and sort of like a cord that gets narrow and narrower and narrower.
Ooh, yeah. And it's purple.
And it's purple, and he has a lot of control over it.
Yeah, he's dexterous. It's dexterous over there.
Yes, he's been doing tongue exercises. He's gone to PT. It's like full range of motion here. And he's like, well, I want to taste this. And she's like, okay, fine. Yeah, because it sounds great. Because I'm really tired of being edged by you, my guy.
Right. So she comes like a freight train, obviously.
And her knee gets caught on his horn.
Yes, I loved it.
You know what? If you're going to have to plot out sex scenes with a big, big, big monster with horns, you know, sex is awkward and weird things happen. Of course, you're going to get your knee hooked on his horn.
I loved it so much.
But I mean, think about the handlebars that gives you.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
This is excellent character design.
Most certainly. Absolutely.
Excellent.
And she thinks that to herself. She's like, I can really just steer him wherever I need him to be. So then afterwards, he like comes up for air, sort
And
of.
he passes through her hymen with his tongue.
Yeah.
There's a hymen breaking scene, you guys.
He says, I want more, because she's already come, and then he like gives her a break, and he's like, I want more.
No, this is great. I need more.
And then he puts that tongue up there, and she feels like a little tear.
A light pinch of pain through her channel.
Oh, that's the one.
Yep.
And then he tastes blood, and immediately his eyes turn red, and he's fixing to feast in a bad way now.
And his claws start digging into her thighs in a way that's painful.
Yeah. And she's like, oh, he's going to eat me now, and there's nothing I can do about it. And like, maybe I don't even care. And because she's not afraid, he's able to like pull himself back from the brink.
Yes.
And he's like, why did I hurt you? Why do I smell and taste blood? What's going on? And she explains the hymen to him, and he's like, what are you talking about? And she's like, you should know this. I don't understand why you don't know this. And he's like,
she's like,
why?
You broke my hymen. He's like, I broke you.
Yeah.
I broke you. Oh my gosh.
I broke my toy.
You insisted on pure virgins. You took my virginity with your tongue. And he's like, humans bleed when that happens? She's like, just women. How did you not? Like, she's like, how do you not know this? And he's like, why would I know this? Because you insisted that all of your offerings be pure. And he went, of disease.
Yeah. I don't want them to have leprosy.
I don't want the human diseases to pass on to me, or I didn't want the humans to pass diseases when they die on to me.
Right. And she's like, oh my God, what a hilarious cultural miscommunication.
Just a little bit. We go back to the tongue part, sir. I just want to go back to that. So you did not, I'm fine. It did not hurt for very long. It's okay. Right. I'm fine. He's like, okay. And then he's like in his head, he goes, I tasted her. I made her come. I tasted her blood, and it was incredible. It was a few drops, and it was just incredible. He could smell her desire. He tasted her orgasm.
Yeah.
He's like, best day of my life. Hands down. Nothing's going to top this day.
Well, and he was so proud of himself, and so it made him so hopeful for the future because he tasted her blood. He almost went into a frenzy, but his like appetite for her was more than his appetite for her flesh.
Yes.
And that's a big thing.
Yes. It's
for him.
The ability. Okay. So when his eyes are purple, he has more control over the state when his eyes are red. Mm-hmm. And so when he's aroused, he has better control over the ravenous hunger for blood that is a part of his instinctual nature. Like, it's not like he chooses it. He just goes into like, it's like roid rage or road rage, except for blood. Yes. And there's no option here. He gets self-control, and you're right. He's so proud of himself.
And he's like he's starting to think, because he has not let himself hope until now, but he's starting to think like, this might actually work. Like, she's
not afraid of me.
The one
lets me touch her. She lets me bathe her. She likes my garden. She likes my house. Clearly likes my tongue. You know, the horns are good too. Maybe
all signs are go.
Maybe this will work.
Except the next morning, switch chapter, and she is running through the forest like her life depends on it, because she's so horrified by her positive reaction to his sexual touches. That's where we're going to stop for today. Tomorrow, we'll be back to see the fallout of Rhea's panicked flight. Heaving Bosoms is produced by us, Melody Carlisle and Sabrina Bradley. Editing is done by me, Melody Carlisle. Our theme music is by the incredible singer-songwriter Brittany Fonts, and our art is by the ultra-talented author Kate Pryor. If you like our show, remember to follow us on your favorite podcast app, rate us 5 stars, and leave a review. That one small action is a huge way to help the show. If you want to get in touch with us for advertising inquiries or anything else, you can email us at heavingbosomespodcast@gmail.com. If you want more of us, visit patreon.com/heavingbosomspodcast. You can also find us on Instagram at Heaving Bosoms, on TikTok at Heaving_Bosoms, and in our Facebook group, the Heaving Bosoms Geriatric Friendship Cult. See you tomorrow.